Welcome to Dear Claire. This is the art of healing adoptee attachment. This is where we're going to go way beyond just being aware of your attachment style. We're going to be healing your core wounds so that you can improve the quality of your relationships and bring more peace into your life. We're diving into the somatic tools, the subconscious reprogramming, and the manifestation practices that move the healing from your head into your heart and your nervous system. I'm so glad you landed here, and I'm committed to creating this safe space for us to start doing the work together. Being an adoptee, it's such a unique and complicated journey, isn't it? Relationships can feel so incredibly hard for us because of those deep attachment wounds that we carry. Those quiet stories about our worthiness and that constant underlying fear that if we're truly seen, we'll eventually be abandoned. Lately, it seems like everyone is talking about attachment theory. You've probably seen the quizzes or you've labeled yourself an anxious or an avoidant, right? You may start to wonder if this is now your personality and how it explains so much about your whole life. And honestly, that awareness is a huge first step, even when it feels heavy. But here's the truth. Just knowing your attachment style, it sometimes leads us to label ourselves and others, which is really disempowering, and it keeps us stuck in a victim mindset. How many times have we told ourselves, well, that's just the way I am, I guess? This mindset is not going to help us change. To really, truly transform how we show up in the world, we have to go way beyond a quiz result. We have to be willing to do the deep, messy work and learn the actual strategies to become securely attached. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Trust me on this. And listen, if you're single right now, this is actually the perfect time to do this work. When you heal your core wounds, your picker just changes. Okay, you stop being attracted to all the chaos and you start manifesting a partner who is just as regulated and ready to grow as you are. So your attachment style can absolutely change, but only if you find the courage to do the work. If we stay at the surface level, we just keep suffering and missing out on the actual joy, the love, and all of the peace that we deserve. Okay, I've heard a lot of people say, time heals all wounds, right? But honestly, that is just not true. Okay, hear me out. Without the work, those core wounds, the triggers that send you into this spiral of anxiety, anger, sadness, or unhealthy coping mechanisms, they usually just intensify with time. But because you're here, curious about how to heal, you, my friend, you're in the right place. By changing ourselves, we're going to start this ripple effect that will touch our families, our friends, our entire community, and it's really time to stop living our old stories, and it's time to start writing the one that you actually do want. All right, let's just be honest. For a lot of us, the idea of connection, it doesn't necessarily feel like a warm hug. It feels like a threat, if I'm being honest. It feels like waiting for the other shoe to drop. Listen, I spent 50 years of my life terrified of being truly seen. And I'm here to share the story about how I moved out of that constant state of survival and finally found what it feels to be safe in my own body. Growing up as a transracial adoptee, I was really a master of masking so that I could hide my true self and just bypass that ambiguous loss, that quiet, hollow ache for a culture, a language, and a face that looked like mine. To survive, I became a chameleon and the best shapeshifter you've ever seen. I learned to blend into white spaces. I performed the role of the perfect, also grateful daughter just to earn my love and to prove to the world that I was indeed worthy. To the world, I may have looked like a badass single mom, okay? I had a professional career. I also started my own meal prep business. I was a fitness coach. I even competed in the bodybuilding shows. Okay, that was a very long time ago. On the outside, though, I looked like I had all my shit together. But on the inside, I was just a sad shell of myself. I was fading away into this person I didn't even know. So I feel like as I grew older, I somehow lost who I really was. And I just need to go back and find a way back to my true self. So if this sounds like you at all, I want you to ask yourself this one question. Who were you before the world told you who you should be? About 8 years ago, the decades of all of the people pleasing, all of the self-denial, this didn't just crack me, okay? They shattered me open. I hit a wall of depression so thick that it just felt like physical paralysis. My personal life was, at that time, it was a revolving door of just toxic relationships and toxic cycles, right? So I was addicted to the chase because that adrenaline, it just made me feel so alive. And yet I was really just terrified of what would happen if someone found out how fucked up I was. I learned that if I numbed the noise with food, with drinking, with sex, being a workaholic, shopping for shit I didn't need, and all of those other ways that I would learn to distract myself, I never have to sit alone with my own thoughts or feelings. So maybe you can relate. I remember driving home one evening, okay? The sun was setting over the highway. I was coming home from work and I rolled up the windows so no one could hear me and I just screamed. I felt so trapped in this rat race that I never signed up for, and I was just praying for a way out. Eventually, the hardest truth of my life, it finally hit me. And here's my hot take on life. Okay, here it comes. My hot take is no one is coming to save you. So as my world crumbled, I decided I needed to drop out of the rat race and I just started therapy. It's the only thing I could really do. But soon I realized something critical. Okay, being aware of your attachment style is not enough to heal your wounds, okay? You can read all the books, you can take every quiz out there, know all the labels, you can even label your partner, but awareness alone is not going to stop you from staying triggered, having anxiety, and being in a constant state of pain, okay? To truly heal, we have to go deeper. Through this podcast, you're going to learn all the components of integrated attachment theory, which I learned as a student of Thais Gibson, the founder and creator of the Gibson Integrated Attachment Theory School, and how it applies to adoptees. So we're going to use the power of neuroplasticity and also subconscious reprogramming to actually shift the way that your brain and body react to connection. So this isn't just about romantic partners. This is about transforming your relationship with your family, with your friends, even your coworkers, but most importantly, transforming your relationship with yourself. Each episode, I'm going to read a Dear Claire question from a listener just like you. I'm going to help you navigate your sticking points with compassion and directness, and I won't just tell you why you're stuck. I'm going to leave you with new actionable strategies to really help you heal. And because healing happens in the body as much as in the mind, I'm going to provide a specific tool for self-regulation in every show. So these are the tools that allow you to step into a state of peace and alignment so that you can finally embody the best, most secure version of you. So whether it's a struggle with a partner, a friend, a family member, or even just the way that you talk to yourself, I want to hear from you. I want to hear what your challenge is. So send in your questions for my Dear Claire segments, and let's figure out the why together while we walk through all the steps to actually change your narrative. I want to tell you a little bit about Dr. Peter Levine. He's the author and the developer of somatic experiencing and the author of one of my favorite books, Waking the Tiger. And he said, trauma is not what happens to us, but what we hold inside in the absence of an empathetic witness. So coming from an adoptee and the adoptee lens, many of us found that we grew up with the absence of an empathetic witness. And this happened at the very beginning of life. So there may have been no one to mirror the grief of our first loss, which is why you develop core wounds. They are all of these beliefs that we have about ourselves, and they get stuck in our nervous system. And they become the filter that we begin to see our world through. So as an adoptee, for decades of my life, I would feel unlovable or unworthy, or I thought I would be abandoned. I felt unsafe, and I really just thought there was something wrong with me. And now looking back, I just realized how by going around saying these things to myself, saying these core wounds to myself, it was affecting all of my relationships, which were toxic, and affected how I behaved in these relationships. So when we have an empathetic witness, what happens is our brain's limbic system can move out of the survival mode because it feels a co-regulation of another person. This is why Dr. Levine emphasizes that healing isn't just about telling your story. It's about the presence of someone who truly sees and feels the weight of that story with you. All right, let me tell you a little bit about my core wounds, and I'm just going to be a little vulnerable here. My adoption core wounds kind of were like this dirty windshield on my car. So the longer I kept driving without cleaning off my windshield, the harder it was to see the road. So like all of those nasty dead bugs, all the dirt and the grime, they were really making it hard to bring the awareness to the fact that I allowed others to walk all over me like a doormat. I had no boundaries. I crave connection all the time, and yet I pushed people away. And I just really hated spending this time alone with myself because of who I had become as a person. So I lived in hypervigilance. I was constantly scanning the room and just waiting for the other shoe to drop. But the turning point came when I stopped viewing my core wounds as a life sentence and started seeing it as just faulty programming. And the issue wasn't that something was wrong with me. It was my identity and how I'd become my core wounds. Almost like I had manifested my deepest, most painful fears to come true. My old self was built on the pillars of just feeling defective, feeling unsafe, and feeling disconnected. But I learned that if I actually wanted to start manifesting something desirable, I would need to systematically build a new identity based on safety, based on feeling worthy, based on feeling whole. And I began to release the stuck trauma from my body through somatic experiencing and acting and feeling as if I was already the secure person that I wanted to be. So I know many of you might think that this sounds a little woo-woo to you, but I'm just here to tell you this shit actually works, okay? I used to feel so stuck in life. Like I was always struggling as a single mother. I was worried about everything. I was worried that I would fail. I was worried that I was a horrible mom. I worried that I wouldn't have enough money to survive. Like I worried that my job would just suck forever. And I worried that I would lose my daughter someday. Now, I worried also that I would never find love or any true close friends. And there was a point when I had no one. I had no friends. I just want to say that if you feel like you are stuck right now, you're not alone. I was able to figure out how to stop fighting myself and how to learn to trust myself. And I learned that you cannot outpower or outwill your subconscious mind. Let me say that again. Your conscious mind cannot outpower or outwill your subconscious mind. So what I actually learned was how to manifest my dream life. And brings me to today, where I just cannot even believe it. I get to live in Vietnam, which is one of the most beautiful places I've ever lived. I have the beach close by. The people are so kind and they're amazing, and they just really match this high vibe collective energy, which is so good for my soul. Like, I go for a walk every single night along the Hong River, and every night I go out, I see families out, I see couples out, spending time together, connecting. Everyone is happy. I see everyone singing karaoke and dancing, just like spontaneously dancing on the sidewalk. Wherever I go, people are so joyful. And oh my gosh, that is definitely the vibe that I am looking for to surround myself with. I get to eat the most delicious food every day, and everything is super affordable. Like, I really can't think of anything that I could possibly need that I don't have. Now, I live really simply. I don't have many things, but I get to exercise every day. I have a lot of time for self-care, walking on the beach, like I said, swimming on my pool, swimming in my rooftop pool, like meditating, meeting up with friends. We do breath work, pottery class, pickleball, just hang out and just enjoy life. Sometimes I wonder, and this is a fair question. So if I have healed myself so much and I have healed my core wounds, become securely attached, why am I still single? Okay, that is a fair question. And let me explain. I have stopped looking for the right person, and I have just started being the right person for me. I am embodying the stability, the depth, the emotional intelligence that I want in a partner. Because the truth is, a high-value partner isn't looking for someone to save. Okay, they're not looking to come and save me. They're looking for someone who is already standing in her own power. And by healing my adoptee attachment wounds now, I am doing the prep work so that our future connection can be healthy, it can be secure, and it can be expansive just from day one. And that is really what I am looking for in a secure partner. Do I need to be fully healed in order to get into a healthy relationship? Absolutely not. Now, I know that when I meet someone who is someone I'd like to have a relationship with, I'll be able to see their green flags as well as any red flags, and also have the tools to be able to see them as someone who can bring value into my life. So we'll be able to have a deep connection and work through conflicts in a much healthier way, and also talk about our needs and how we can meet each other's needs while also meeting our own needs too. The most important thing about my future partner will be that they will be open and willing to do the work too, so that we can really just be the healthiest version of ourselves for each other. Okay, so let me tell you about Esther Perel. She is a world-renowned psychotherapist, an author, and a speaker, really recognized for her groundbreaking work on modern relationships, erotic intelligence, and then also that delicate balance between the human need for security and the desire for freedom. So Esther Perel, she says, the quality of your relationships, it determines the quality of your life. But for those of us with deep attachment wounds, our relationship quality is often held hostage by our past core wounds. Here on the Dear Claire podcast, we are moving beyond just the awareness to give you the tools to change the quality of your internal world so that you can manifest a higher quality of life. I want to offer you something that I myself have spent half a century searching for, and that is permission. Permission to finally take off your armor. Permission to set down the heavy, exhausting mask of being that perfect adoptee. Because for too long, you've just carried the quiet fear that you aren't perfect. You'll be rejected again, and then if you aren't good enough, then that will prove that the original lie of being defective or unworthy is actually true, right? Now, I'm here to tell you that you are not broken. Okay, you do not need fixing. Our adoption trauma is a real physiological imprint on our nervous system, but it's not a life sentence, okay? Your body keeps a score, but you deserve to be seen in your wholeness. You deserve to be heard in your pain, and you deserve to finally feel safe within your own body so that you can continue healing. Here's a truth I need you to carry with you. You have to stop the cycle of being abandoned by others by taking this first step. You have to stop abandoning yourself because you aren't healing just so that you can handle the pain or handle the trauma or handle the depression. Okay, you're already doing that, right? You are healing so that you can handle the joy, handle the peace, and handle all the happiness and the love. Okay? Healing doesn't happen when you find the right person to love you. It happens when you finally decide to be the person who stays for you. So are you ready to stop wishing and start rewiring? It's time to move from surviving to thriving. Welcome to your new story. I'm going to leave you with a powerful somatic tool to help you get some of your stories out of your head and somatically process them. Okay, this is a nervous system regulation tool that uses heart coherence to synchronize your heart with your brain waves. And this coherence is the frequency of manifestation. So when you're coherent, you stop projecting lack and you start radiating the secure signal that's going to bring in the higher emotions that you do want to feel in order to shift those stories to more empowered thoughts. I want you to find a comfortable seat and just relax yourself. Ground into your body. And let's take a nice deep breath together. As you release your shoulders. Feel them drop away from your ears. I want you to place your hand over your heart and feel the steady beat that has been with you since the beginning. Now place your other hand on your forehead, creating a gentle anchor for your mind. And I invite you to close your eyes and just let the world outside fade away. We're going to inhale deeply through your nose, imagining the breath traveling like a golden thread from your heart up to your hand on your forehead. Hold for a beat. Now exhale slowly through your mouth, feeling all of that mental static and what ifs drop down, just settling safely into the warmth of your heart. Continue your breathings in through your nose, out through your mouth. And as you hold this circuit of safety, repeat these words to your inner child. I am bringing my story home to my heart. I am the empathetic witness I always needed. My origin story belongs to me, and I am safe in this body. I am no longer waiting to be chosen. I choose myself. Now take one final deep breath in. Feel the coherence between your mind and your heart. You are whole. You are embodied. You are home. Now gently open your eyes and thank yourself. Before we close out today's episode, I want to take a moment to acknowledge you. Thank you for showing up for yourself today and for having the courage to do this work. Remember, healing isn't just a concept, it's a practice of reclamation. And to make sure that you never miss a step on this journey, please hit subscribe to the Dear Claire podcast. This ensures that you'll be the first to know the moment a new episode drops. It's also a sign of a commitment to yourself and for committing to doing the work on your journey. I would also be so grateful if you could just take 60 seconds to rate and review the show. In the world of podcasting, your review acts like a lighthouse. It helps us reach more adoptees who are looking for this space to heal their attachments and find their way home to themselves and bring more joy and peace into their lives as well. Remember, this is a conversation, so if you have a question about your relationships, about your core wounds, about your manifestation journey, please submit it via the link in the show notes. By asking your question, you aren't just helping yourself, you are empowering every other listener who is likely struggling with the exact same thing. I'm so honored to be on this path with you. I cannot wait to do more of this healing work together. This is the Dear Claire podcast, and I'll see you next time. Much love.